or breakup on top of the global grief that's happening, that's a lot. It's a lot to be moving through. But the reality is, like, you can't just tell grief to go away. You get to experience it. And even though it feels like you're drowning, it feels like it's like the end of the world, like, know that grief is holding you and is your friend, and there's such a beauty around what that grief does for us to be able to move through that pain. And you get to, I know, like, it feels so awful and so painful, and we try to avoid it. But avoiding it is that resistance thing that we were talking about, and it makes it longer when you avoid it. So you can't just tell it to go away. You have to actually allow yourself to experience it. And there's such a beautiful thing that can happen when you do that.
Mm, so good. Um, any final parting words on just like understanding the arc, right? Like seeing the trajectory of like the process, right? Like I know, for just to give it context, right? It's like false peaks, right? Whether it's in goals in business or you're on a trail and you think you got to the, you think you got to the top, but there's like another like 3,000 feet to go. It like looks like the top. For those people who are kind of slugging it out right now, trying to like get through the breakup, like any parting words as far as how to make peace with where they're at?
You can only control yourself. And you get to choose. So if you want to choose to be miserable and suffer, you can do that. If you want to choose to play victim and blame everything on your ex and say, woe is me, and live in your little pity party forever, you are welcome to do that. If you want to choose to break out of that and grow, you're capable of doing that as well. I think at the end of the day, all of this is a choice. And even though it feels like, I know how painful it can be and how tough hearing these words can be a little bit. Like, you have a choice. And yes, you can be sad, and you can be angry, and you can feel all of the feelings that come up. And you can choose to allow yourself to suffer in that. And you can stay in that forever if you want and continue those patterns over and over and over again, like so many people do. Or you can choose to, like, look at yourself in the mirror and take responsibility for yourself and what you know. Um, like, we make unconscious decisions all the time. And I know for me, like, I was unconsciously committed to abandonment. Like, I ultimately pushed my ex-husband away because of the actions that I took. And so I could choose to live in that space and not grow from that and then continue that in every relationship that I have. Or I could own it, take responsibility. Wow, I'm so sorry, Morris. I didn't even realize I was pushing you away, and like, learn and grow from that experience. It's all a choice.
Mm, I love that. It was funny. That was kind of like my gateway drug into the personal development world, right? Like realizing I had a choice. It's like once I was like, wow, it's such a funny thing too. It's like it's such a weird thing to like wake up to, right? Because it's like, of course we have a choice, but like if you don't know you have a choice, you don't know you have a choice until you do. And it was so liberating, so awesome.
I have a very silly story. Okay, I was talking I was talking to someone the other day, and he was very frustrated because he wanted to record a video, and there was a lot of noise going on in the background of the house because of the kids being home. And he just looked tired and frustrated, and I was like, you get to ask for quiet. Like, you're the dad. You can say, like, ask for what you need and want. And I think we're so easily forget that we get to ask for what we need and want. We don't get to make that choice for the other person, but we get to ask, and we get to say what it is that we need and want. And he's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think of that. Like, because sometimes we're just so in it, and having a mirror
Yeah.
helps us. Like, that's why having a coach is so important. But like, we're so in it that we forget Like if we're so emotional, we forget about our logic brain, or if we're so logical, we forget about the emotions. And like marrying both of those is super important.
So good. Well, awesome. That was fun.
Yes, thank you so much.
Is there an official way to like wrap this thing up as far as like technologically? I don't want to like hit any buttons on my screen here and like make it
Oh,
go away forever.
I will end it. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Jess,
You're super
for
welcome. That was super fun.
being here. Oh, and it's telling me I have 20 seconds remaining. So apparently we have to get off anyways. Well, we love you all so much. Thank you for joining and have a wonderful week and message me if you have any further questions. Create, play, love. Mwah!
Deal.